I would look at Mike Leach, I always thought of how much he enjoyed being at Key West at his home and with his family, with Sharon and them and that. And I was wondering, why at 61 he doesn't look like he, and I mean this as a compliment, didn't look like he needed a lot of money. I always wondered why he was still coaching, and I guess I want to hear from you is that he loved coaching football even more than he did spending time riding around in Key West on his bicycle.
It is a great observation and question, Jim, because I did the same thing. You know, you look at him and you got a life and a permanent home in Key West, Florida, and you're set. I mean, it'd be easy to just go pedal your time away. But I think what he went through this year is an indicator of to the answer of your question. There was nothing that was going to keep him from coaching football ever. He got sick this year. It was pretty obvious to a lot of us that were around that he wasn't feeling well for a good portion of the year. We had an open date prior to the Auburn game. And I remember during that particular week, I think it was that week, I hope I'm remembering this right. I think it was that week when they had someone fill in for him on the Thursday night coaches show. And we'd heard, well, he was getting a little under the weather. He kind of had the cough, but then the next week after the Auburn game, of course, it rained on him on the sideline. It was freezing cold. And in the post game, the Auburn game, he had a really hard time with the coughing, even kind of completing the sentences in our post game interview and stuff. And I thought, no, that's different than the normal clearing your throat. He's gotten sick, And I saw him the next week at practice. They were practicing, getting ready to play Georgia. And one of those things where I could tell he did not feel good. You could just tell by looking at him, but he's out there, right? And I said, Coach, you feeling all right? He's like, yeah, unfortunately I got the flu and it kind of developed into pneumonia. So I'm just battling through that. I thought, pneumonia, okay, well, no wonder he doesn't look like he feels good, but he's out at practice. And I talked to some of the guys out there and they're like, he's the most stubborn person I've ever met. There's nothing going to keep him from coming out here to football practice. So that's kind of an indicator. You're a lot of fans who are like, hey, he doesn't sound well. I heard he's sick. Is he going to retire? And there were a few times I would answer, this is not even with talking to coach about it. There's a few times I would answer and say, my gut tells me that he would prefer that if the way he goes, they got to go pick him up off the sideline. They got to take him away from the practice field. There's nothing going to keep him away from it. So there's kind of, I think, the way I would answer it, Jim, is even this year was an indication of there's nothing else in the world that he wanted to do other than be coaching football. And there was nothing that was going to keep him from doing it, not even getting really sick.